All right, what's going on YouTube? Back at you with another video. You already know daily uploads. Gotta make sure I have something to listen to while you guys clean or whatever you guys do. That'll be when I have two questions today. The first question to be when you guys are listening to like these videos or in general, like what are you normally doing? But yeah, so today, guys, have you ever just thought about and you have to be at a certain point to really get it, but the average person is really unhealthy. And it becomes more apparent as I just learn more, but my standards elevate. And when you just look at the science, if you're 300 pounds, that might be, it's more than 3,000 calories easily to maintain I think it's like 4 or 5,000. But man, to consistently eat that much food, that might be more impressive, honestly. 'Cause I don't think I could do that. Like 6,000 calories, you have to eat that every day, especially when you don't feel like it. It's really crazy. And see, that's another thing too. This is why you have to track. It's a blessing, but it's a curse too, because you're gonna be the only person in your environment that is this aware of how much calories those Doritos have. Not to mention how poisonous it is for actual people. It's literal poison. But see, the people around you, they're not gonna know. So you have this knowledge and these standards, and sometimes it can feel like a curse. I know some of you guys will get that because the people around you, they're just doing these things, doing all these things, and it's fine because it's normal. You want to be like everyone else, and it's like damn. But once you become aware, you don't. It doesn't get you down anymore because you just become aware. Like that person is acting normal. You're actually the weird one for taking your health seriously. It's crazy how we've gone to that point, but that's how it is. So you can't blame them. But now another thing is, see, for me it was different. I've been like for years now, I've like been buying my own food, even though like I live with others, but my family, but I'll always buy like my food because I know I'm only gonna eat food that I buy because I'm not gonna eat the foods that they eat and all the snacks and that stuff. I don't do all that. But if you're just starting on this journey, you don't have the discipline, you don't have the merit to get away with that. So you're going to have to change your circle. That's going to save you a lot of time. If you want to be healthy and lean, whatever, someone that goes to the gym, you're going to have to be around people that do that, or you're going to have to call out people that don't do that because you're going to be going 3 to 5 days a week. And then remember, outside the gym, the most important thing is the diet, but also your sleep. You can't be going out so often because you have to get sleep in so you can wake up, go to the gym before work, or get enough sleep so after work you can go to the gym, etc., etc. You have to do all these things. So if you were only hanging out with certain people to have fun, instant dopamine, instant gratification, and all that stuff, when you decide to, okay, I don't want that anymore. I want to see something on the other side of this comfort. I want to be the best for myself. Those people have to go. And I know a lot of you know this, but it hasn't stuck in your mind because if I look at your environment, they're cooked. That person, 30% body fat. That person, it's cooked. You have to. I'm at the point now, like I would be okay, but because now, okay, if I go out with friends, I know it's like a steak and potatoes, steak and some fries. That's it. I'm not gonna no dessert, not gonna drink, none of that. But that's because my standards are so high now. That's the biggest thing too. When your standards get so high, you're gonna keep the commitments to yourself like life or death. So even if you get 2 hours sleeps, you're still gonna work out. Even if you know it doesn't make sense, you said you wouldn't miss workouts. So you'll still go, you might deload, change up a little bit. You might just go to the gym and do cardio. You might skip the whole workout, but you still went to the gym. You didn't miss the workout. That's how high your standards have to get if this is going to be a permanent lifestyle. You have to have that identity shift. Because I'm telling you, when your standards elevate, you're gonna look around your environment and just see, wow, yeah, I'm definitely the weird one here. But you're gonna go through so much changes, and that's the thing. So a lot of you guys, you're not ready. You're gonna go through so much changes. You might have 30 people that you probably talk to on a regular basis. That number might be reduced to 8 in 6 months. If you take, that's the thing too. If you take this journey serious for the next 6 to 8 months, you're gonna be unrecognizable. But those people, they're gonna be associated with your old identity. So they're probably not ready for the new identity either, which is why they want you to stay where you are, because that's another thing too. And I can personally relate to this, which is why I don't have any hate towards that person, because when you're doing all the right things and they're not, but both of you know you want the same thing, you become the literal manifestation that, okay, damn, I can't make any excuses. The only way you can go back to that old version is you got to leave that environment. So my personal life, it is what it is. I just know they didn't want it bad enough, But me, I actually want it bad enough. So whatever it takes, whatever the cost, until the job's finished, I'm gonna see this through. Because what you guys don't get is this diet stuff. It's a spiritual gluttony. Or if anyone's seen Full Alchemist, like gluttony, that's just real. So when someone's like, "Oh, you want to be lean for the abs, for the vet," no, you're not gonna last. You're not going to last. Someone that has mastered gluttony, like they step on it and they're above it in the purest sense. That's someone that has six pack abs. They're gonna look better than everyone because their standards are so much higher. Because they're willing to do what most people they won't even attempt. That's a lot of people. And if you decide to start on your journey, even if you're a beginner, that still makes you better than a lot of people, because some people they won't even try. They'll only try for 30 days. If you try for a couple of months up and down, you're still better off than most people. So don't discredit yourself. But see, what's so powerful about environment is they're going to be a great amplifier, because when you're in an environment now that, okay, everyone works out, everyone does this. When you do those things, oh great, I'm going to get to that point too, and you can detach from it. Because see, when you're too attached to something, the whole law of attraction. But it makes a lot of sense when I really think about, okay, yeah, if you someone that gets a lot of women, or they have a good physique, they're not too attached to it. It's a natural consequence. It's just what they do. So they're not going to have this possessive, very strong grip to it. It's going to be very light, which is why, it attracts you. It took me a really long time to understand what the law of detachment, what it really meant. But now I get it. Because for me, I already know I'm lean. This is why I record these videos. When I go back and play this, I'm like, okay, yeah, at that point, yeah, we already knew he was lean, because you've done the inner work that has to reflect externally at a certain point. Because the things I'm doing now are things I've never done before, but it's not difficult. And this is why I'm always saying gluttony and lust are intertwined, because I remember when maybe I got to like 120 days of SR, I was like, oh, this is easy. But see, at that point, lust was already not conquered, because I feel like you have to have a certain amount of options and of motion, which I'm nowhere near that point yet, to really know you've conquered lust. Because there's two sides, because you either someone that constantly hang out with chicks, smash them, whatever, or B, you're the gooner. But both of those people are victims to lust. The people that think, oh, it's fine, yeah, okay, it was an actual person, you're still losing the battle to lust, because that energy, you could argue it could be even worse, because you're merging those energies, their traumas, all that stuff you're absorbing. So or you could argue, but both are equally cooked. But when someone has mastered both of those aspects, truly, that's someone that's conquered lust. But another thing I'm starting to recognize, you won't really know yourself until those challenges, the 30, 69, 90-day challenges, 75 hard. No, you need more time. If someone says, oh, I'm not addicted to smoking, okay, go 6 months without it. If that's easy, then okay, yeah, you're right. But I bet you can't. I bet you can't. And it's easier for you to say, oh, yeah, it's not that deep. I'm not addicted. Yeah, it's easier to do that than to actively put yourself in that really uncomfortable situation, especially when everyone else around you smokes. That's why you have to, if you're gonna take, your fitness, health, and stuff seriously, you have to all the vices. You really have to get control over all of them. You have to basically destroy all of them, as I recognize it now. But lust and gluttony, that is going to be that's going to be the starting point. I'm telling you, if you're doing SR, you're going to find it a lot easier to just track everything, eat the same foods, the hunger pangs when they come. You're going to be okay, because you're doing something very difficult. Or you could argue, I would argue gluttony is, I would say, harder to master, because you have to eat every day. But both can equally destroy a person. The Bible, King Solomon, how Esau lust destroyed him, but then so much people get destroyed by gluttony on a daily basis that they have 40-inch waist, or she's 5'4" and she weighs 250, and yet somehow we think this is normal. See, that's the thing. People are so cooked now. I'm telling you, that's the thing. And it's not from ego. You just have to be very objective. And that's the thing too. Especially if you're skinny fat too. Like skinny people, you guys aren't safe either because you might be 120 pounds, but you might be 30% body fat. You might have bigger tits than some girls. It's just how it is. So I'm telling you, you have to. This shit's not a game, guys. You have to take it serious. This shit is not a game. It's not a game. It shouldn't be crazy to eat whole foods that aren't processed, things that aren't made, in chemical factories. And see, that was one of the biggest lessons I learned just interacting with locked in lean people. They view that as the bare minimum. All right, this is the bare minimum. You working out 4 or 5 days a week, hitting the protein goal, tracking bare minimum. That does not make you impressive. That's just the starting point. But we're so cooked that when you do the bare minimum, you're exceptional. Really crazy how that works. I'm telling you, there's just so much things in my mind now. I'm like, wow. That's the thing too. That's another example I'll use, especially in the black community. That girl, she's not thick. That bitch is fat. I have to be the one to tell you because I understand. I understand the biochemistry. I understand it all now. So that bitch. I'm sorry. She's objectively fat. I'm sorry. I'm just keeping the buck. She's actually like overweight. Her BMI, like she's gonna be at risk for heart attacks and stuff. And that's, I know that sounds crazy, but I'm telling you, take her weight, take her height, and just think about how much you weigh and how you look. And you're gonna be, damn, hang on. Like I remember I had a friend, we don't be talking anymore, but she was like 5'4" and she's like 180. I'm like, wait, hang on. I was like 190 when I used to interact with her. So I'm like, hang on, we're the same weight, but I'm almost a foot taller than her. And I'm thinking, oh, she's a little chubby, but no, I'm like, damn, hang on, wait, no, that's not just a little chubby. She might be, the BMI might be crazy, but that was before I started to learn about like tracking and all that stuff. I didn't know. I knew to eat healthy, but you have to even if you're eating whole healthy foods, you still have to track because you can overeat on healthy foods too. And the only reason I know that is because at one point, I remember I've tried every diet essentially, so I can tell you from experience firsthand. The only diet I haven't tried is veganism, but through the carnivore like keto community, it's very easy to overeat because fat, is usually how you're gonna, you'll cut back on fat when you're cutting because cat fat has a lot of calories. But it's very easy to eat on those carnivore keto diets if you're not tracking how much fat you're consuming. Like I'm just putting like stacks of butter and eggs and stuff because they tell you, oh, fat is good, which is true, but not that much. You don't need that much. That's why it's important to track because when you find your maintenance, you're gonna see, oh, I don't need to eat that much. I'm telling you, it's the greatest blessing. I can eat now because you're eating less. You can buy higher quality foods. You can get that organic beef. Boom. You can get that. You can get these better fruits. You can probably shop at a farmer's market and you can get away with it because you're not snacking. You're not really buying juice. Me, I'm only drinking orange juice, water, and then very occasionally coconut water. That's it. Not nothing else. I'm not none of those the juices and all that stuff. 'Cause I'm telling you, especially if you're broke, you got a lot of credit card debt, just get lean because that's gonna save you hella money. When you're not eating out, you're going to save money. I'm telling you. But you're gonna feel a lot better too. But more importantly, that spiritual battle, you're gonna actually conquer gluttony, which that's something very few people can do. So that's why people that do are very rewarded. We have to seek out the difficult things. It's some anime shit too. You got to be like Goku. Okay, oh that's difficult. Oh, I want to try that. Because one of the reasons I started was like, hang on, this seems really difficult. You have to basically like a primordial desire. You have to basically tame on a day-to-day basis, every day for a very very long period of time. There's something to gain from doing that. That's why I started, and I'm at this point now. As a consequence of that, I think we're on day 165. I think, yeah, 165. But I'm telling you, if you take it serious, it's gonna work out. If this video gets one person to take their health journey serious, boom, that'd make me immensely happy because I wish I started sooner. I started late at like 19. Some people 14, 15, 16. The earlier you start, the better. Oh, grab the mic again. Ugh, that's faster. But Anyways, but the earlier you start, the better. Or that's the thing too. You know, maybe you might be your 30s, your 40s, but it's never too late. Because the thing is, here's how, the universe is very kind because you've been eating like a big bag for decades. But if you lock in for 8 to 6 months, you can undo all that damage and you'll look completely different. I think that's pretty fair because if you've been eating this way for that long, then likely it should take you decades to get out of it, but it doesn't take that long. It's just 6, 8 months of, genuine intention, setting your standards, changing your environment, and then you can do it. And I make these videos too as a test of all that also. I'm gonna look back in December, be like, oh wow, I used to say that, or oh wow, it looks so different, you know? Because I already know I'm at that point. Because lust and gluttony, they've been not mastered yet. That's years down the line, but they are very under control. They don't they don't control me anymore like they do some people. But see, that's the thing too. Everyone thinks, and this is gonna take you a long time to understand, but the reason we always talk about this health stuff is because when you raise your standards, as a consequence, you look better. But it's not, the gym is not about lifting weights. You eating healthier. It's not about like, oh, that magical number of protein to raise. It's not about any of that stuff. It's just having higher standards. And as a consequence of that, you're going to look a lot better. And the science is, your hormones improve, this or that, cortisol is not as, all that stuff, sure. But it's all innately spiritual first. And then that manifests externally as better habits, looking better, these things. That's another thing too. That's why you have to start your health journey because you're gonna recognize how impressive this shit is. Someone that can eat the same foods every day. Niggas don't even understand how impressive that shit is. They don't. They don't. Anyone that downplays you for eating the same meals, even for a week straight, they haven't done. Like things like that. They haven't actually. They've LARP self improved for so long, but they've never committed to it long enough, so they can say things like that because they don't know. Remember, it's very important. The people you're around, they have to inspire or motivate you in some way. You have to be like them in some aspect. Otherwise, they don't motivate and inspire you. You gotta ask yourself, why are you hanging out with them? Is it just because you've known them for a really long time? Or that's not, it could be that too. You might be scared of being alone. You can't be alone. You can't be alone. Sit with yourself. So that's another thing too. See, for me, now I know I can't be alone because like it's like this peace. It's so hard to explain, but there's this inner peace that comes from knowing no one can fuck up my routine. Whoever comes in, the routine is always gonna prioritize first. I'm still going to bed early. I'm still gonna wake up early. I'm still gonna work out. I'm still gonna eat my foods. If you want to go out, we're gonna go out to a nice restaurant. I'm gonna have a steak, potatoes. That's it. I'm not gonna have any goofy desserts. If I want a dessert, I'm gonna go to a farmer, buy some ingredients, make some cookies from scratch, or even that too. Quick diet I do, animal based. You can make a bunch if you have a sweet tooth, bunch of animal based, cookie recipes. But go to Sprouts or wherever. Just go somewhere where you can get, pay a little more. It's okay because remember, you're not eating as much food because you have a desire to get lean. So you're not spending that much money on food. And if you have a desire to get lean, you're likely not going out or very infrequently. So it's okay. You can spend a little more, get those organic cookies. You can snack on those. You'll be fine. Because for me, I'm so locked in now. I have more leeway because that's the thing too. I'm around, and that's the thing. You have to be very objective about it. The people are that they've been doing it longer. But when I'm thinking, okay, it's just eggs, ground beef, milk. That's all I'm eating. They'll do protein bars, this or that. Even though all that stuff's kind of cooked, but I'd rather eat that than Doritos or some gummy worms. But I just know I'm objective. I'm like, okay, yeah, like this is my superpower. The diet. That's the thing too. The diet. If you can take this diet stuff seriously, that is your superpower because very few people are gonna push the diet to the extremes. Because I'm not gonna lie, you can get lean and all this stuff. I've seen it. I've interacted with people that they can get lean, but now I'm thinking, okay, what if someone gets lean eating the way I do? I'm like, oh wait, that's me, right? So let me be the experiment. Someone that has chosen to optimize their hormones, excuse me, to the fullest extent. What am I gonna look like when I'm lean? Because my hormone, I'm not eating any goofy foods. I'm gonna say, oh look, that motivates me too. It's a lot of okay. This is my weapon. Okay, how can I push this to the extreme? You know, and that gives you that competitive edge because the way I eat. Very, very, very few people can do. And again, that's not from ego. You're just being objective about it. Look around you. Most people are overweight. That means you're not. That means you're not eating like most people, you know? You have to be very objective about it because everyone thinks it's from ego, vanity. No, you guys just don't get it because you don't do it. You're not walking the path. You don't know. But when you walk it long enough, you're gonna recognize, oh wow, the things I do, I'm impressive. Okay. But it's funny. You'll think that and think, nah, we still got to lock in. We can push it a lot further on some anime like Goku shit. Yeah, we can take this a lot further. But yeah, guys, I don't know how long the yapping's for, but I've been yapping for a good little minute. But stay locked in. Make sure you're doing all the right things. Really protect your frequency and vibration. Really audit your circle, and make sure you get that workout in. Stay locked in. Thanks for listening. If you made it this far, and the second question is going to be, what's your favorite meal? Or what's your go-to meal for hitting your protein goal? Yeah, that'll be the second question if anyone made it this far. If you have, you're a real one. Thanks for listening. And yeah, stay locked in. Stay blessed. To the next one. Upload tomorrow, of course. Stay blessed.